It seems to be working.
Would you all please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call the meeting to order, the county board for the month of June. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Lorenzen.
Here.
Farnham.
Here.
Chick.
Here.
Luddington. Patrick.
Here.
Bruner.
Here.
And Voigt.
Here. Okay, the first order of business after our roll call would be the minutes from the May 8th and May 20th special meeting. You've had those in your packet. Is there a motion to approve those minutes as presented?
So moved.
Derek moves.
Second.
Andy seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you. It does carry. Next is the county board members' claims. Likewise, those were in your, oh, no, I've got claims against the county.
Yes.
You've had those in your minutes, in your packet. Are there any questions or clarifications needed on those bills as presented? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve those claims.
So moved.
Dan moves.
Second.
Derek seconds. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Next item, county board member claims. You've had those in your packet. Are there any questions or clarifications needed? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve those claims.
So moved.
Derek moves.
Second.
Andy seconds. Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They do carry. Next, we come to the portion of the meeting for public comment. We ask that you adhere to our rule on the 5 minutes. Please identify yourself. Are there any person that wishes to address the board under public comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to the highway resolution. That would be the supplemental county maintenance 2019 resolutions BLR 14220 appropriating funds from the county motor fuel tax allotment for the maintenance of county roads for the period beginning 1/1/19 and ending 12/31/19. Mr. Engineer.
It's a second supplemental to our general maintenance statement. Like we talked about Monday, it's to purchase 100,000 gallons of oil to do 25 miles of seal coating, to position ourselves to do that if we think that our motor fuel tax is going to increase. And it takes some time to go to letting and get this approved, so we're trying to position ourselves to do roughly 25 miles of seal coating this fall, late summer or fall.
Are there any
If the funds are available.
Are there any questions or clarifications needed for this resolution, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve this resolution. Carl moves.
Second.
John seconds. Any further discussion?
Who seconded that? I'm sorry.
John.
John did. Okay.
Supposedly.
No, he did.
I thought I heard Derek.
He raised it. Would you call the roll, please?
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Farnham.
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
And Bruner.
Yes.
And that does carry. Thank you. The next three items, 9, 10, and 11, revolve around the Enterprise Zone Intergovernmental Agreement resolution or amendment. The modification for the Enterprise Zone Amendment 2 regarding equity agronomy expansion warehouse. And the third item, number 11, is to authorize the chairman to sign an intergovernmental cooperative agreement for equity water main project. I did go to the we did hear from Michael Martin, who is here today. I wanted to let you know that I did go to the public hearing Monday night, and they read the whole thing out, didn't you, Michael?
Yes, I did.
The whole thing. And it did not result in any questions or pro comments or opposed comments. I wouldn't let the board know about that. Michael, did you want to address the board at all, other than what you?
Unless there's any questions.
Okay, are there any questions of Michael at this point? Okay, well, let's deal with 9 first, to authorize chairman to sign amendment to the Edgar County Enterprise Zone Intergovernmental Agreement. Do I hear a motion? Carl moves, and Andy seconds. Any further discussion? Mr. Clerk?
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
and Bruner.
Yes.
That does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. Next is a resolution authorizing the boundary modification to the Edgar County Enterprise Zone Amendment to the Equity Agronomy Expansion Warehouse. Do we hear a motion on that resolution? Carl moves.
Second.
Derek seconds. Got that?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
That does carry also, thank you. Next and last on this subject is to authorize the chairman to sign intergovernmental cooperative agreement for Equity Water Main Project.
So moved.
Derek moves, Carl seconds. Any further questions? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Okay, that does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. Next item 12, resolution from Joseph E. Meyer authorizing the chairman to execute a deed of conveyance for the parcel number listed to Laura Ann Turner. Do you know anything about?
I'm not aware of anything. Is it just along the same guidelines?
It's the same thing that we've been doing for a number of years.
Somebody is buying something that they're holding.
Now Dina may have all the parcel numbers memorized, but I don't.
I actually looked it up. It's the house with the tree on it there on Wood Street. We
Oh,
have
is
it
it?
on for a market value of $5,000, so it's good that someone's gonna buy it and do something with it.
Well, that's good.
That's great.
That's a great thing, as a matter of fact.
Are you the one that's gonna buy it?
You buying it, Dan? No. He's got to
last guy has bought it.
I thought that's what she said.
Dan's probably got a lien on it for mowing.
And for cats.
Cat care.
Cat care.
I got some milk kittens, do you need a cat?
No. Do we hear a motion for the resolution approval, please?
So moved.
Derek moves, Dan seconds. Would you please call the roll when you're ready?
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have a resolution as to acceptance of office oath and bond for Ben Lucan, trustee, Paris Community Fire Protection District. Is there a motion to approve that? John moves.
Second.
Carl seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, would you call the roll when you're ready, Mr. Clerk?
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
It is approved. Next, resolution reappointing Ben Lucan, trustee, Paris Community Fire Protection District. Do I hear motion? Carl moves, John seconds. When you're ready, sir.
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Does carry. Thank you. Next, appoint Shirley Mullen to Edgar County Housing Authority to complete vacated
You need
terms.
to accept the resignation
Yeah.
first, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Accept resignation of Mary Metcalf from the Edgar County Housing Authority. Motion to accept.
So moved.
Dan moves. Andy seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Now I can read 16. Appoint Shirley Mullen to Edgar County Housing Authority to complete vacated term of Mary Metcalf. Term expires August 1st, 2020. Motion to appoint?
Can I ask a quick question? I assume
Absolutely.
the board, the housing authority board is who came up with her name and they're all good with it?
Yeah, she's a resident, isn't she?
Yeah, Mary, well, the administrator, yes, emailed me to let me know that Mary resigned, and she's the resident board member.
Okay,
And so, and then she submitted Shirley's
so they have
name.
to have a resident board member and
Yes.
she's the one, okay.
Yes.
Thank you, John. Okay, do we have a motion on that yet?
I'll move.
John moves. Andy seconds. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. Next, appoint Jesse Lusader to 911 Board to complete the vacated term of Eric Shaughnessy. Term expires November 30th, 2021. Discussion?
I just have one question, and it's not necessarily with Jesse Lusader, and I'm not trying to indicate anything, but, you know, we appoint the people on the board. What rights do we have to remove?
The law was changed. I don't think it was last year, Carl, was it the year before?
I'm not sure.
Anyway, they inserted a thing in there, and I don't have the verbiage, but for cause, and it defines out cause, that we can remove them. But we all have to remove them. I can't remove them. It is just a,
A board vote the same as putting them on, but we have to prove that there was a legitimate cause and.
okay? Did I say that right?
Perfect.
All right. So, we had some discussion on Monday. I think all of us have considered that. I don't think, does anybody want to table this at this point? Okay. Can I have a motion then to appoint? Andy moves to appoint and Dan moves to second. So, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It is approved. Next, we heard, was it 2 weeks ago on the audit? And we need to accept the audit as presented by our CPA firm and consultants. And then we'll file the necessary paperwork with the state of Illinois. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Derek moves. Andy seconds. Any further discussion? Call the roll on that one.
Yes, sir. Lorenzen,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Chittick,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Gruner.
Yes.
Okay. Now we come to the portion of the meeting where we hear from department heads and officers. So, Don, you got anything for us today?
Sure. Last week, the reins were handed over to us on the tax cycle to proceed with printing of the bills. I finished printing the bills last night in-house. We are sorting, stuffing, sealing. We are going to have due dates of July 19th and September 20th. We will have them in the mail by, I plan on taking them to the post office sometime on the 18th next week. So they will probably be hitting mailboxes and P.O. boxes by Wednesday, which is required that you have 30 days before the first due date postmark. We'll be collecting 26 million and change over this next few months, in a perfect world, of course. As far as the distribution, whether or not I would do one by the end of the month, I don't know. It depends on if some people will be in waiting for the door to get unlocked the next day. They just want to get this done and over with. Well, matter of fact, I won't be doing a distribution before the end of June because schools do not like them before July 1st, and I think we'll be able to make it to July 1st. We are, as you can see on our report I gave you, we're at a $20,000 basically fumes in our cash flow, but most of our state payments have not hit yet.
We've only got one, right?
Right, we've only gotten sales tax. I'm just saying it could go either way by the end of the month as far as having to borrow. We have on our line of credit. We haven't had to do it yet, and I'm thinking for once optimistically that we can get it through the end of the month. We got another payroll to do, but other than that, we also have we received our catalogs on the sealed bid auction that we have every summer, put on by our tax agent Joseph Meyer and Associates. The first day to bid is July 12th, or the last day to bid is July 12th. You can start bidding today. Catalogs are $3. I just want to remind people that if they ask you questions, hey, I heard about these are properties that need some desperate, tender loving care or torn down. Usually the most interested parties are adjacent landowners that want to expand their yard and get rid of an eyesore. But if a person can do a lot of the work themselves, there is potential. So the minimum bid is $819, I think. Yeah, $819. So theoretically, a person could buy a property for $819. All back taxes go away, including the ones due this year and the ones due next year, because the person wouldn't have owned it January 1st of 19.
One on Wood Street, sign says 816.
Well,
They give it-
catalog says 819. I don't know what, that may be, these catalogs are $3. It may have something to do with that $3. Or it just may be somebody,
Okay.
it wouldn't be dyslexic, they were writing upside down or something. Anyway,
Do you have the catalogs for some?
I have the catalogs available at the treasurer's office, and I thought you said the one on East Wood Street is the one being conveyed with the tree on it.
Mhm. I mean, that's what's listed on the agenda today, that first number.
Well, I won't argue with you, because you would know. So I don't know, if there's a sign in that yard, it basically just became null and void because you guys just authorized the conveyance of it, so.
You know, signs in the wood or in the trees,
I figure,
It's really a moot point.
but
It's really a moot point at this
I
point.
don't,
Yeah.
I just kidding.
the ordinance guy will be going down there, will be looking up this Turner now, right, Mike? All right, I think that's it. Any questions?
Okay,
Thank you.
Ross, did you have anything you wish to say?
Yeah, continuation of the conversation about the camera systems. I did finally get a quote Monday from Commercial Radio Service over in Terre Haute. The jail portion of the project comes in at just over, well, just under 30,000, so it's 29,963. That's kind of the core of what everything else is going to be built off of. So that's the big recording unit that will allow us to record all the cameras and stuff, plus all the cameras at the jail, plus all the installation and all the necessary other equipment, the switches and things. So that's the first kind of stage of it. The second stage would be reliant on getting the fiber optic cables between the buildings done. The price tag on that one's $8,262.
That's the fiber optic, so that's the follow-on projects.
That's to connect the courthouse and the annex. And it would be an upgrade not just for the camera system, but it would also increase our overall network capacity as well.
Ross, how much was that again? I'm sorry.
$8,262.
You know, I'm dyslexic, I'm sorry.
For the courthouse and the annex?
That's the fiber optic that connects from the jail to the courthouse, from the courthouse over to the annex. So that's the backbone of the network between the three locations. And then the cost on the third phase, basically, to get the courthouse and the annex camera systems up and running is going to be $26,538. So that's kind of the breakdown of the camera system installation as it stands. I'm still haggling on some of the parts and pieces, but overall, that's about in the ballpark. They like I said, Monday, they switched vendors from straight from China outfit to a company that they can get support straight out of Indianapolis. So the price on the equipment kind of went down, but the price on hard drives and stuff has gone up. So it's all in flux. But so that's the baseline prices that they've provided.
So those numbers roughly correlate to the initial
Yes,
proposal?
yeah, they're very close.
Under 70.
Yeah, what we saved on the recorder, we ended up burning on the hard drives to get everything stored, so. But it is a huge amount of storage. So we should be able to record every camera, and the system being installed is at half capacity. So we have the ability of adding half again that many cameras into it, so it's already at 60 some odd cameras, and we can push it up to 128 total.
And the 60 cameras is not only the jail, but the courthouse?
That's everything. Yeah, it's all the locations.
Other questions?
What time frame are we talking?
They wanted to come over and walk through, get an eyeball on where all the current camera systems are and the mess that we have over there now that they would have to wade through. They're thinking probably into July they can get started. I don't know how long it would take them to get everything in, set up, ready to install, and then deployed and get everything hung, but they've got a team. I went down to Marshall and looked over their setup. They're crazy professional, so everything's labeled, everything's neatly bundled, and no wires hanging out of ceilings or anything weird like that. So.
And you'll monitor to make
Yes.
sure.
I'll coordinate with them. I'll actually try and be as involved as possible because I'm interested in learning how
Right,
the
you need
system
to.
all works and make sure that I know.
What's
where
the
everything is.
warranty on all this stuff?
Honestly, I don't know. I didn't ask, but I can follow that up. Being that GeoVision is a US-based company, I would guess that there's at least a year's warranty on the core hardware. And then the hard drives we're purchasing separately, so they have their own like 1 year, 5 year type warranty. So
Other questions? Without objection, would you go ahead with phase one?
sure. Yep. I'll give them a
Okay.
call and tell them to get it on the list.
Because we really can't, and if you feel more comfortable, if we come back in July, we can put that on the agenda just to, but without objection, move forward with phase one.
After he does the walkthrough and sees what he's getting into, I mentioned that there was another study session this month, and he's more than willing to come over and answer any questions directly. I mean, he'd be able to answer the warranty and everything.
Well, that might not be a bad idea. We'd like to see who we're doing this with.
Is there a reason why we didn't go on with at least phase 2 as well?
Well, I'll,
Yeah, with that.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about,
Getting to jail.
right, and then also staying within our guidelines. Okay? Does that make, do you understand?
Yep.
Okay.
That's everything I've got.
Any other questions of him? Aaron?
Nope, I have nothing further. Any questions for me?
Okay. Hi, Janet.
Hello. No, nothing new.
We discussed a little bit about the smartwatch, and we'll probably be getting back to you and or Ollie or whatever to make sure that there's a complete understanding and that we have a document that lays forward and sets forward how we're gonna treat each other and what, so that in case all of us are gone and somebody else is here, everybody understands what's going on, okay? Is that fair, gentlemen, to say? Okay, thank
I'll
you.
try to keep in touch too with Jim.
Oh, I'm sure, it's just,
Right.
we just want to have all the Ts crossed and the Is dotted and everybody understands what's gonna happen over the next however many years.
When's your next board meeting?
It's not this month, but next month. It's the third Wednesday.
Okay.
Monty?
Nothing new to report.
Okay. Are the judges using more ankle bracelets than they have in the past, or what's the trend?
They're using more, it's kind of a combination of home confinement and electronic monitoring. There's been a slight tick up in the electronic monitoring, but usually it's after, as part of sentencing, not a precondition.
I didn't know, so I know we had met, a year or two ago, and we felt that that would be an issue for overcrowding and, okay,
Hasn't turned into one.
all right, thank you very much. Tom, what's going on out at the airport?
Well, we're pretty busy with the construction project, which is about 30 days old now since we started. They have constructed the construction access road. They've excavated the site. They've incorporated 4 tanks of lime, and they've watered and compacted that. And today they will start some underground drainage work, continue that tomorrow. We'll start applying rock Friday, that'll be 6 inches of rock. And they intend to pour concrete next week for the next 2 weeks.
Okay. I encourage all of you guys to get out there and take a look. Maybe here in a couple of weeks, we might set up some kind of a visitation out there and have the site superintendent available. And that way we know exactly what's going on. If we have any questions, that way we can get them answered. Does that sound like something you might be interested in doing? Okay.
And I just have a quick question for Tom, and I'm sure you're 3 steps ahead of me on it. But once spraying season starts, I assume you've got things figured out, so, the spray planes coming in and out with the construction zone there, I'm sure that's gonna be a challenge.
Well, fortunately, the construction really is not in the area where
It's gonna be out of the way, and, okay,
It's a lot
Doesn't
less
appear like it's
congested.
gonna be a problem.
okay.
It's a lot less congested than I thought it would be. And the contractor is doing a good job of maintaining a separation and delineation of that separation. So I think it's not gonna be the issue we thought it could be.
Okay, good.
But that's something, if you go visit,
Yeah,
Much longer do they think it'll take, most of the summer?
Well,
The dirt, Foyt's part, not the tanks and all that.
well, once they start pouring the concrete, then once that cures, that part will be finished. They will then have to wait for the arrival of the fuel system. And once the new system comes, they will install that. Once that's installed and ready to go, then they'll come back and take out the old system and finish the work there. Of course, they can't do that until the new system's operating.
And I think they projected July 1 for the tank, or that's what they were told. Have we got any updates on that, or you already?
Haven't heard any update.
the contract is for 83 days and they've roughly expended 30, like you said. So there's roughly 53 days left on the contract, just to give you an idea.
And he's doing the parlor feeding system again this year.
Okay. Dina?
Well, we have been talking and discussing and preparing and bracing for the storm next week when tax bills go out for 18, and we begin to have assessors turn in work for 19. We're busy calculating new assessments for 19.
The quadrennial is done up north?
It is finished.
Okay. Any questions of Dina, please? Thank you, Dina. Sheriff?
Nothing new to report. I would like to give Aaron and his crew 2 thumbs up on the construction around the jail and parking lots. And so far, everything's still green and hasn't died yet, so.
I'm gonna get over and talk to Eric to see how they feel, just to get some feedback. I do have something that kind of falls under your deal. The new marijuana law.
Yeah, we're gonna plant some of that green.
That's not exactly what I had. Counties and municipalities can opt out of this law as far as allowing people to grow and sell in the different counties. However, we don't live in a bubble, you know, this, whatever we do, we have to coordinate, or if we do anything, we have to coordinate with the city. Cause it would be, I would think it would be very, but Sheriff, you need to be plugged into this. Obviously, if we decided not to allow the sale and or propagation of marijuana out in the county and the city did, or vice versa, that could create a big mess in the county. But it's, I just wanna put this up so everybody's thinking about it. It may be nothing that we wanna interfere with, but it's something that we may be questioned about. I got a call from one of the TV stations in Terre Haute asking me what the board's stance on it, and I said, we have no stance, we have not discussed it. He was telling us that one or two of our sister counties.
Clark County Clark County Board voted to oppose it.
Right, so, I mean, these are things that may be coming up that we're gonna have to deal with. I'm just simply giving everybody a heads up. I think the governor did finally sign that bill, so it is in fact something that
So
we.
then in a way, say we would say, yeah, it's okay to grow it here.
Well, we don't have to, no, if we do nothing, state law exists.
Right.
We can simply, it's called opting out.
But if we decide to say, we're gonna leave it be, but can we say, you can grow it, but here's a fee you gotta have to plant it or to raise it?
I don't know, cause I haven't got the full
Okay.
deal.
You know, if you heard something
I thought
like that.
maybe you might wanna talk to the police chief, I might wanna talk to the mayor, see if they're either cogitating. If they do nothing, it's gonna be hard for us to do something.
Ask Michael.
Yeah, oh, Michael, I'm sorry. Michael, what do you know about this?
It's about the same as what you just brought up. It was brought up at a meeting. We've had no stance yet. The mayor and the council are looking into it.
Okay.
I can relay that.
We just need to communicate,
Sure. Yeah.
because I think it would be very
Yeah, it's very
inconsistent
difficult
of
for
us to do several different things in a small county of however many square miles we are, 400 or 500. Yes,
Is that similar to like, at the repeal of prohibition, you could vote, and actually it was a strange deal, because it was townships that voted on it, but they said that the county can vote on it?
the county board.
The county board.
The county board, not the county, can prohibit the growth and or sale for commercial purposes of marijuana. We cannot opt out of allowing our citizens to smoke it in their home legally.
Only the growing and the.
Only the growth and sale of marijuana. The way I've read the stuff from Illinois counties.
Is that commercial growth, or they also, the bill has a provision for small, home gardener,
Well,
that's.
They do
not-
it
Right
both.
now you're allowed for the X amount of plant, I mean, I'll go up to your house, you got 2 plants growing, can't do nothing about it, unless we had an ordinance. But-
Yeah,
But, so it's more the commercial,
Right.
for-profit, which I live next to Indiana.
And nobody can have more than, 30 grams? And everybody that has,
Plants, yeah.
and then anybody that's been convicted of 30 grams or less is gonna be pardoned in Illinois. And I don't know how far back they look, but their records are gonna be expunged, okay?
Can we get some information on what actually we can do?
Yes,
Take a
and I
look
think
at
the
it.
state's attorney should review it. He hasn't got anything else to do, right? I'm kidding, Mark, if you watch this. That was facetiousness. All right, but we do need to look into it so that we're prepared, because we may have citizens coming in one way or the other, and we need to be prepared. Yes, sir.
In that most recent update on the new legislation, I emailed that out for those that emailed, and I handed out those that don't email that copy, and it does a pretty good job. There's a full page on that law, so.
But we'll get actually the
But we
law.
will,
Yeah.
absolutely, we'll get it from whoever we need to get it from, let Mark interpret it for us, so there's
Yeah.
no misunderstanding.
See what our options are and what they aren't. And we may opt to do nothing, and that way the state law just stands. All right, let's see, Jeff, were you done then?
Yeah, I'm done.
Augie?
I do not have anything at this time,
Okay.
unless there are questions for me.
Okay, hearing none. Mr. Bruner?
Well, the only thing, I was mowing the grass on Wood Street yesterday, and some guy came by and gave me some bad words about cutting the weeds, so I have hired somebody else, and he said he'd do them today or tomorrow. I can't repeat what the guy said, but
Was it the weed word?
the weed word, noxious weed word came by. Didn't know what kind of weed it was. So, the weeds will be cut down by end of May.
Okay, well, just so you know, I mean, and we appreciate it. Actually, you could refer that to Dirk, right?
I have,
Okay, you have? Okay.
yeah.
Because you should, I mean, it, and
Well,
again, we appreciate it, but it shouldn't be,
That's all right.
You're- I
That's
know.
all right, it doesn't bother me.
all right, that's fine.
We'll
I
get it
just,
done.
Sounds like Orion Turner's problem.
I'll turn the bill in next week.
yeah, see, I do have a comment in regards to that because I've had several neighbors. Remember when Dirk and I met with the railroad up north? And they said we could exchange, the weeds are already getting out of control out on the railroads, okay? And I'm sure they are elsewhere. So
My
I,
understanding was that they were going to, since they were a new owner, that by this season, they were gonna be ready to tackle it themselves, but I'll pass it along to their.
well, we just need, before it gets, before everything goes to seed and everything gets to be a bigger problem, and the insect
Not just the weeds, a specific list.
the insect problems increase, we need to deal with that.
And we are mowing, we're actually, in the first time in my tenure, on our second round of mowing.
Okay,
Never had this.
yeah.
much.
Did I miss something, you guys? Is there
We were
something?
just discussing weed.
We,
The difference between noxious weeds and regular
Weeds
weeds.
and
Noxious
noxious
weeds,
weeds,
sorry.
depends on how you look at it. Ones on Wood Street are noxious, maybe.
Earmuffs,
Not those.
Andy?
Jeff, I'll tell Dirk.
I'm trying to get in touch with someone that's familiar at the hospital with as far as Augie's comments on ability to control the new systems. I have talked to some people out there, and it's kind of my understanding, a lot of what the problem with controlling the temperature in the different offices is trying to fine tune the system at this point, I guess. But I'm gonna talk, I'm reaching out to someone to find out.
And of course, we could talk to,
I can talk to
Yeah.
Eric and see what they,
I detect that there is a little concern about,
the variable.
yeah, the variable and how whether we're understood completely out at the health department. I mean, some of those I's and T's should be dotted and crossed before we get committed to all this stuff. And I know that Ori's not gonna wanna hear that, but I don't know, we need some, I'm not sure what you can call it, but some justification and some feel-good medicine about how this is gonna proceed. Am I reading you guys wrong? Okay.
No, and
I think you need at least plus or minus 5% figures.
Yeah.
Of this is how much it's gonna cost, this is how you're gonna, this is how the payments will be made. Right.
And, you know, I don't know if we should decide not to mess with the heating cooling system in the courthouse, how is that gonna affect things? I'm just saying hypothetically.
The health department has a lot of problems too, right, with our heating and cooling. Health department has a lot of problems
Oh, yeah,
that
ongoing,
need to be fixed.
yeah.
Well, I don't think we're talking about not doing that.
Right.
I think what we're with the health
This amount of
department,
money to spend.
we need to compartmentalize and make sure everybody understands how we're gonna move forward for the next 15 and a half years.
Right.
And who's gonna pay what to who and how it's gonna be handled.
I have a couple other comments.
Please.
While we're on that we need to think about, because I couldn't sleep and read through all of this last night. Both the lease agreement and the contract with Smart Lot, we have to have what we call an authorized representative in one place or a competent person only. And basically, both entities want us to have somebody in charge of the heating and cooling systems, which is reasonable. You know, I suppose it would be Bob at the courthouse. I don't know what you guys have for maintenance.
We just use Sycamore, we have a maintenance agreement with Sycamore.
Okay.
They come for
But, you know, there needs to be a point of contact there, and which makes sense, but we need to, as a board, figure out who it's gonna be. And the other thing, both the lease and the actual contract has some pretty specific language about insurance. And I think we're probably okay with our county policy, but we probably ought to have Austin look it over and just make sure that we do have everything that they want on that. You know, like I said, neither of those are stumbling points, they're just two things that we need to think about going forward.
Well, and you're absolutely right, and I'm glad you brought it up. For a personal note, I'm putting in solar, and you have to add that to the system. And in that case, what I'm doing is $65 a year, but there is an additional cost for some of this stuff. So I think you are correct that our insurance agents should at least look it over and see whether we're covered or not covered.
Yeah, and, you know, the leaseor, he's putting up the money for it, I, you know, sure don't blame him for wanting us to be sure that we're covered on it.
Well, yeah, he's gonna want a certificate of insurance
Yeah, that's
with
one
him
of the
being named,
requirements that-
just like I had to give.
Yeah. So basically, we need to, and I don't know if you can get a hold of Austin to show him the two sections in this and make sure we got what we need, you know.
Which, since we're talking about Austin, Sheriff, how are we doing with online training, et cetera?
We're still trying to get our email set up, and we're ready to go. We just gotta get everybody's email set up and get us logged in and ready to go.
Okay, well, we're gonna get into the period, I know this sounds like I'm not trying to be a panicky, but if we don't get that in and going soon, they're gonna be into taking a look at how they're gonna rate us in another month or two, okay? So, might keep that in the back of your mind, yes?
Have we ever talked to a government entity or a company that has used SmartWalk on how they like it, how it works?
I haven't personally, I've got different ones that they have done work for, and there was, if you'll look at that thing that they gave us, they had feedback in there from ones that they had done work for. but-
I think Marshall School District was the closest.
Is that right?
And Marshall went with Honeywell.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, I'll look at it.
On the health department, on the smartwatch, it's a $1.1 million project, and I think he said
He said $500,000, but that's not correct, and I don't have
three,
anything.
roughly 350 to 400,000 for the health department. Has your board, are they aware of it, have they discussed this?
You know, the only actual information I had to give the board was what, when Andy came over and the people from SmartWalk were there and Sycamore was there and we met, you know, that was all the information that I had to give the board. And the only thing, my understanding of it was simply that basically our electric bill is going to drop, but we will continue to pay what it is now average to the county.
The difference, yeah.
Yes.
So do they realize that we're gonna have some type of agreement between the health department and the county prior to us doing this? I mean, have they done anything, your board?
No, and the other thing is that
Yeah.
I have, like, if there is gonna be an initial cost from the health department, like, I don't have any information on anything like that. If there's an amount of money that we're going to have to propose, that's not come to me. Like I said, the only understanding I had was we'd be paying that difference, you know, we would still be paying
See,
the electric bill.
we're talking from Monday, we're talking in 2 weeks, we're gonna want to do this agreement, and you guys.
See, I can get a vote from my board, it's just, I don't know what to ask them, you know.
Well, and I've got to say, looking through the agreements,
I didn't bring my stuff.
we're still pretty short on the actual details
Yeah,
and the numbers,
I don't
you
see
know.
how we can get this all going here in 2 weeks. It doesn't sound like you guys have any information and you're gonna have, you
Yeah, if you
We just know what
communicate
has to
with
be done.
Lori, you know, we need the specific numbers, and we really haven't seen
Well,
them
if
yet.
you look at those sheets that we had, it has them, I don't have mine with me, or I'd
No, we
show
don't
them to
have,
you.
our board didn't have the sheets, right, on the initial call.
Well, the sheet was, I got to see the sheet when Andy came over.
We
and
know
had that
what
meeting.
needs to be done there, we don't know how much it's gonna cost. correct?
Well, Janet and Dan, we're in essence borrowing the money and we're gonna pay that money back. That's why the difference in what you're saving is coming back to us
Right.
to pay your portion of what we're doing over the 15 and a half years. But we need to codify and qualify all of that so that everybody has something that they can say, okay, here it is.
Right.
And we
But-
do not have that yet.
But it sounds like you're saying that the health department is going to have to come up with a certain amount.
No, you were not.
Yeah, no?
No.
The basics of the agreement are as such, so basically the difference, like you said, between what you're currently paying and what you're going to pay with the new equipment installed, whatever that established delta is, will be paid to the county from the health department. So
Okay.
that's the big piece.
And that part I've understood, that part the board has approved.
We just need to get an actual number of what that is, or
Right.
maybe you've done that, but that's the linchpin, right?
Yeah.
And in that agreement, it's gonna say that there's no upfront. Your payment is gonna, so that you know that you're not gonna be, just like we need things in our agreement with them and an understanding on paper.
Part of the savings too is, I know Sycamore is there a lot, correct? Hopefully, what they're doing is putting different equipment in so that the cost that you pay to Sycamore is gonna be less, quite a bit less than what, I mean, if you look back at your maintenance cost to Sycamore, it's probably pretty hefty.
It has been over the last couple of years,
Right.
the last 4 or 5 months, it hasn't been as much, because it was kind of like, when they finally got the new unit we had put in, when it kind of got leveled out, and was running the way it's supposed to, things got a lot better, it's just that there's still all
Oh.
the existing old stuff that
Right.
is keeping it from really.
And I think that's what a lot of this is, but I'll get more clarification on that.
There's three primary things that they look at as far as cost savings. It's your actual utility bill, maintenance, and replacement cost.
Right.
And so we probably need to get with Barry and see if he can give us some guidance or tell us where to look to actually quantify what we should put in the contract as far as, how we cover, because ideally, you'll still be saving money, there'll still be money that you're saving in-house beyond what you pay in utilities and beyond what you're paying back to the county to cover. That's how it's, kind of presented to us initially, so.
And they actually told you Sycamore what needs to be replaced, right?
Yeah, Sycamore was at that meeting, they talked to Watts many times, and I know Sycamore has an understanding of everything they're saying.
But it sounds like there's a lot of work yet to be done, okay? So, the committee I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't see how that's gonna get done in 2 weeks, because somehow the committee has to come up with a decent,
If you'll look, I'll get those sheets and you can look at them, it basically, I don't have it with me.
I have to go search for it.
It told you how much the energy savings was, how much was
Those
applied to
were
maintenance.
proposed, those weren't,
Well, I
those
don't
the one we
think,
got.
that's correct, they are proposed, but that's a plus or
Based on
minus.
actual numbers, based on the,
I don't know that you can come up with actual numbers until you start, concrete actual numbers.
sure. But I mean, those are pretty close estimates. And
Right.
again, a lot of that onus falls on them, right? Because if we aren't realizing those savings, that's part of this whole deal, is they are on the hook.
They are
for those costs. So I am playing catch up here with what was discussed Monday. But, as long as our insurance people say we're covered, which I imagine it's probably a net neutral, because we're putting in new stuff which has additional cost, however, it's less likely to turn into a fireball. You know, because I do that. That's one. Two would be just getting actual numbers on a piece of paper and getting it approved by the health department. And then after that, I don't know what else is hanging out there. I don't imagine it's that hard. If we get some input from Smart Watt, we have the numbers, they can tell us, hey, this is what makes the most sense, or what we've used in the past, because he, you know.
Give me a plus or minus compared to the numbers they gave.
Barry said that's something that's done all the time, so it's not, we're not coming out of left field with that. So, was there something else hanging out there that we're missing? Something else you had concerns about? It was those two.
I just think there's not a good communication, and they don't understand what we're getting into and what we need.
Okay.
The control of the courthouse, don't forget about that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's tracking on what the issue is.
Well,
I can get
We
afterwards.
can explain it to you,
Yeah.
it's not.
See, we get it done in 2
Break
weeks.
out the crayons.
What's that?
It's not urgency, we get it done in 2 weeks.
He talked like there are some electric rebates that may be expiring, but.
Well, rather than making a huge mistake,
Oh, no, I agree with you, but I just think we need to look, the numbers that are on those sheets that you gave us delineate pretty much what I thought they did. but-
Yeah,
Well, can you get that to us?
Yeah, I'll get those.
Well, that's because he didn't have copies for everybody.
Well, nah, yeah, but that's not even what he had that day. Those were-
everybody had a copy of it.
We all had a copy of that.
But he had additional stuff there.
He did have some additional stuff that he handed out, but that was more.
I know there's concerns about this variable thing for this level of the courthouse that Augie brought up the other day.
in a nutshell, is one office could be not cold enough, one, I mean, how are they controlled by zones? Some of the office holders are concerned that they're not gonna be able to control what their offices are like in the environment, and basically Ori said that, well, plus or minus 2 degrees, we can probably live with, but who's gonna control it? And, you know, there's a master board rather than one in the office and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a master board to control it, and Augie's afraid he's gonna be burning up in his back little corner office, right?
Burning or freezing, one.
Put in a space heater.
Yeah, we
Oh,
don't-
yeah, and that's a real efficient way to do it.
That's the way we're doing it.
Anyway, there's some issues revolving around that, correct, that we discussed.
Isn't that simply a question of
A lot of that-
thermostats and or temperature
Yes,
sensors?
a lot of that's fine tuning. I mean, you probably are gonna have initial problems. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's a computerized system, and a computer's only as good as the information you put in it.
And a lot of that will come down to who we put in charge of it. Cause, you know, there has to be one person running the main control board. And if the county clerk's office is cold and, you know, whoever else is hot, you know, they need to communicate with the person that can actually knows how to run the board and can try to remedy the situation.
So Derek, the issue was, we're gonna lose control, we will have no control independently in our own office with our own thermostat. That was my issue.
Sure.
That I brought up.
And I mean, I understand the concern, I don't think it's changed, right? So we're going from having the 1975 air blaster in the window and having, you know, the fiery depths of hell, you know, pouring into our, you know, register over there. So, you know, there will be an improvement, I think, overall, that's certainly valid. I would assume, I can't remember exactly what the air conditioning side of it was they were gonna put in, but I would expect that part of all of this is having temperature sensors, you know, in the right places. And so that's feeding into the entire system. And so if somebody's setting a master temperature, it should be, you know, like Ori said, plus or minus 2 degrees and what that is.
Yeah, theoretically, that's right, but in reality, I have no confidence, and I'm opposed to it. Because I'm not gonna have some master person that I have to go to
What if we
beg
make you
to
the
change the
master?
sensor. Do what?
So what if we make you the master?
I don't wanna be the master. I just want my own thermostat. That's all I want.
Right now, we got one thermostat that's about 4 feet from the boiler. It's in the basement. That's what controls the entire courthouse.
So my question to SmartWalk was,
They're very energy.
does the judge's chambers have a thermostat? And the answer is yes, of course, but it's a different system.
Right.
Yeah, forget about the second floor.
I know
We're
that,
concerned
but-
with the first floor.
I understand that, but
No, no,
why do they get it and we don't? I just hate losing control. It's my only thought.
That
And I
is,
don't wanna have to be, distracted by going downstairs, unlocking the door, unlocking the panel, changing the sensor,
Just
just,
two keys, you have to turn
yeah,
simultaneously.
and then put your handprint up there too. So, I have more to say about that, but I'd be glad to do that one-on-one with you gentlemen.
Derek, that is why, Andy has volunteered to go out to the hospital and to another business in town that has this system, to explore with them what good points as well as negative points that they have, okay?
You want me to tell you how the hospital works, or should I say?
No. But thank you. You have lawn to mow.
Doesn't work.
Weeds, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, are we,
Derek. You've asked Carl.
no, I haven't
Oh, I'm
asked
sorry, I
Carl
thought
or
you said,
John.
is there, are we, is there?
No, 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 I was just wanting to make sure we were finished with Andy first, but thank you. John,
I have nothing.
Carl? In regards to 911, I wanted to let the board know that we have an official letter of retirement from Merle E. Clark, effective the 11th, which would be, it's already yesterday. And I'll read this letter and we'll accept his resignation at the next meeting, okay? And it has come to me that, just to be thinking about it, that the 911 board, in lieu of Merle handling a lot of the finances over the years, and I've discussed this with a couple of you already, would like us to look at putting on somebody with a good, solid financial background to replace him, which seems to me to make sense, but obviously we've got a couple of names that we're looking at right now, and we'll pass those on to you as we proceed. There's not another board meeting that I'm aware of until
2 months.
August. So we do have some time, but I don't think we should wait a lot. We could probably deal with this at the next July meeting, regular meeting, and we'll handle that then, okay? Derek?
We got the report from the airport, I don't have anything else that comes to mind.
Okay. I really don't have anything at this point myself. I've kind of interspersed them through comments through the different reports that committees and department heads have made. So I would comment that we are unable to hear from the state's attorney today. He is out of town. We will try to integrate him into the next meeting so that we can, as a closed session, so that we can be caught up on any court matters that we need to be brought up with. And we haven't met with him, what, in 2 months, Carl? Maybe it's 2.5. It's probably time at least we hear a little bit about what's going on. I'm sure he'll hopefully be available, especially if we ask him early enough, okay? So I thank you for your patience in that regard. Is there any other reason to have a closed session today, gentlemen? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Derek moves, Dan seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. We are adjourned.